It reminds me of that one time that Makoto went up to, like, check the pulse of an obviously dead person. And he's just like, man, there's nothing. And everyone's looking at him like, yeah, there's nothing.
Was a body discovery announcement that was made against the intended Hifumi?
You added like 60 syllables to one word in that sentence.
I got a little bit carried away, I'm sorry.
Of course it was. The announcement played right after we discovered his body.
Maybe, but that was also the same time that Taka's body was found.
That's right. It wasn't long after finding his body that we heard the announcement.
So there's a good chance we've made a mistake in there somewhere. I think we confused where the announcement was for Hifumi or Taka.
First of all, if 2 bodies had been found, there really should have been 2 announcements.
Maybe Monokuma simply got lazy and rolled them together into one.
This is when he's gonna butt in, isn't it? Okay.
What do you say, Monokuma? Any comments?
This is when he's gonna butt in.
Well, it's a very sensitive issue, so I can't get into too much detail. But what I can say about the body discovery announcement is that it's only broadcast when 3 or more people find a dead body for the first time.
That didn't answer a question, man. We're asking if you're a lazy bum. No, actually, that was plenty. Huh? He said it's only broadcast when a body is discovered for the first time. Which means, even if we find the same body again later, he won't make the announcement again. If that's true, then why was the announcement made again later on?
Later on? Exactly, we heard the body discovery announcement twice. The second body discovery announcement, the first time it played was when we found each body in the nurse's office and the equipment room. And the second time was when,
Done.
both the bodies were rediscovered, right? Yeah.
Done like dinner.
Yeah, because when the bodies were both rediscovered is after Hifumi played his part and Celeste came in and smacked him upside the face. We heard it the second time in the prostitute when we discovered the 2 bodies. Ding dong. Oh wait, no, that's
Ding dong, bing bong.
I'm stealing even the ambient
A
sounds.
body has been discovered. After a recent amount of time, which you may use however you like, class trial will begin.
Didn't seem weird at the time, but it contradicts what Monokuma just told us, doesn't it?
Exactly. If we were actually rediscovering both bodies, an announcement shouldn't have played.
Then in reality, when the 2 bodies were rediscovered, one of them was actually being discovered for the first time!
So when we found Hifumi the first time in the nurse's office, he wasn't actually dead yet. Meaning he wasn't actually found dead until we came upon him in the repository, where he promptly came back to life.
And that's just a part of it. Not that way. There's still one other thing that leads me to believe that he was still alive in the nurse's office. Oh, I know! Cause he was super good at playing dead. Bada bing, bada boom.
That is the worst logic I have ever heard. But honestly, I do not think there's anything that can prove that he was still alive. Okay then, let's take another look at the events surrounding the discovery of his body. Whether he was really alive or not. This whole thing is pointless.
Look at her being so sad. There has to be proof that shows Hifumi was still alive. I have to find it out and show it to everyone. Bam.
I shot slightly too early.
I shot to the
I'm
right.
there.
Me too.
And then I got it. Yeah, I already got it now, but
Yeah,
I
good
did
job.
shoot early.
Alright. In fact, there was one clear difference between Hifumi in the nurse's office and the repository. His glasses. The fact alone proves that he was only playing dead in the beginning.
Perhaps he'd like to fill the rest of us in?
Well, I'm probably going to show you a picture of my mind. Right here, you see, it's right here. When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, its glasses were covered in blood. However, if you look at this picture of mine, when we found him again later on in the repository, if you look at that close-up in my mind, they were spotless. And I found the item we used to wipe them in the nurse's office trash can. The evidence I found in the trash can in the nurse's office was we just said what it was.
The blue tarp.
I got it. It was the glasses cleaning cloth featured in the certain cartoon mascot. The one with the blood stain on the cloth should make things clear if you look to the right here in the close-up in my mind. The piece of cloth was used to wipe Hifumi's glasses clean. And the mask
Actually, he
on.
actually took this one with him, so...
Oh.
Yeah, but then why is there, like, balled up paper behind it?
Because it's a trash can. What else would you think?
He just brought
It
the
would
entire
just look
trash
weird
can.
if you put it, like, in his hand. Come on. It's for background purposes.
And the mascot on the cloth and the same one that's in the digital camera, right? And the one digital camera was Hifumi's, of course. Look at my face bob up and down. The character was Princess Piggles from Demon Angel Star. Pretty pudgy princess, I think. I highly doubt anyone but Hifumi would have brought something like this to school.
I see your point, and the only people who wear glasses are... I wouldn't be caught dead using a tacky piece of garbage like that.
A few issues is all I need to keep my glasses of tissues, not issues, but I do have issues.
I clean it with drama.
Then there's no question it belongs to Hifumi.
So what you're saying is, what exactly?
Come on, Yasuhiro, you're worse than Makoto. What I'm saying is the blood stain on his glasses was wiped away using his own glasses cleaning cloth.
It does not mean that he wiped the blood off himself.
But who would benefit from a clean pair of glasses other than the glasses' owner?
That's a good point.
And also, you'd have to reach in his pants to grab his thing to just wipe off his
Kyoko reached in his pants.
It must have been him, right?
So let's assume that Hifumi was still alive in the nurse's office. He pretends to be dead, then when he's alone, he wipes his glasses clean so he can see. Then he stands up, walks out on his own 2 feet. And with that, the impossible task of moving his copious corpse becomes possible, wouldn't you say?
But then if he was just pretending to be dead... What was with all that blood? What was pain or something?
The fridge in the nurse's office contains packs of blood for emergencies. He probably used one of those.
He figured he was gonna play dead, he should go all out, so he just dumped it everywhere. But he got crazy with it and had to go wipe his glasses off when he was done. God, what an idiot!
And if Hifumi was still alive at that point, the disappearance of Taka's body is easily explained.
Also, it should be worth mentioning that Hifumi's spike hair was still up, but it was down after he got smacked and smited down for realsies.
Shh, the grown-ups are talking. It should be perfectly obvious who must have moved Taka's corpse.
The one who moved Taka's corpse was Hifumi! Taka himself!
Sakura.
Dig, it has to be Taka!
If everybody's alive!
Taka was.
Bum bum bum!
It could have only been Hifumi.
While we were all gathered in the nurse's office, he went to the equipment room and took Taka's body.
That also explains how the door to the repository got locked. The door was locked?! Well, after the bodies disappeared, we were all looking for them, right? So me and Sakura headed to the repository. But when we got there, the door was locked. And the repository door can only be locked from the inside. Which means that he and Sakura got to the repository, someone was already inside. He could have...
And it could only have been Hifumi, who'd just finished stashing Taka's body there. I heard you start to say my line.
No, you didn't. Come on, Byakuya, just let it be.
He convinced us all he was dead, and when he saw his chance, he dragged Taka's body to the repository. So Hifumi wasn't just another victim in this case. He was one of the assailants.
Yup.
But that means he took part in the murders.
I just can't believe it. Man, I also can't believe it either. For once, I'm actually way ahead of the game with one of these courtrooms.
If you're having trouble, would you like me to show you one more piece of evidence?
Are you gonna show me a piece of your mind?
There's more?
Oh, absolutely. The single biggest fact pointing to his involvement is yet to be revealed. You know what I'm talking about, right, Makoto? Of Taka's lifeless body?
Yes. The thing that Hifumi stole from Taka could it be the piece of paper?
The blue tarp.
It's always the blue type. Alright.
Robo-justice!
The note Hifumi had. You're talking about the note Hifumi had hidden away, aren't you? In his pants. Ah, a hidden note? That's right, we found it stuffed in his pants. What? In his pants?
Yes, his pants.
Okay, well, forget about the pants for now. Take a look at what the note says. If you just look to the right of my mind here. I found a hole maybe we can use to escape by reading my mind. Moonoookuumaa can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet in the equipment room at 6 a.m. I read in my mind.
Ah, that's the note I was telling you about, the one that told me where to go. But it's a little different. In my note, it said, Moonoookuumaa can't find out, so don't tell anyone else for now. Let's meet at the rec room at 1 a.m.
I see. Then this note isn't the same one Hiro got.
It's not the same?
In other words, the killer got in touch with another person besides Hiro. That person happened to be Taka. And that person could only have been
Hifumi's
Taka.
pants.
The note was addressed to Hifumi's pants all along.
Wait, is that what it read? I didn't read anything other than Taka.
Yeah,
It
his
was
pants are
Taka, me,
sensitive.
and Hifumi's pants.
That's incredible. Man, I think the game creators, when they translated this, has had a blast. That's right.
His
Taka!
pants.
The killer used this note to draw out Taka and murder him. Hello, over here. Objection, objection! I don't really understand what's going on, but Hifumi had that letter, right? So whoever wrote it, you're gonna have to show the ripped piece of paper in Taka's hand. Alright. Just to be clear, TikTok is Taka and Huffy is Hifumi, right? Oh yes, why must he ruin it every time? Man, Genocide Jack is seriously scary, but still. Can't let her get on to me. Break! Right. No, there's
that's wrong.
absolutely no connection. What the heck are you talking about? You notice at the meet at 6 a.m., which is the same time Taka was murdered. We've already proven that it's using his wristwatch. But there's one more. But there is more. Look where the note says to meet. Equipment room, right?
Which is where Taka was killed. I see.
So Taka was murdered at both the time and place written in the note. I think there should be plenty to show that this note was definitely meant for Taka. Well, when you put it like that, no further objections!
And someone used that note to trick Taka just the same as me. The culprit really is a cold-blooded monster telling people they'd find a way out.
But if they gave the note to Taka, what was Hifumi doing with it? Stuffed down his pants, no less! Most likely, Hifumi stole off Taka's corpse after he died. Huh? He stole it?
Where's your proof? Go ahead,
Well,
show
if you
us.
see my mind, I can show you the piece of paper that Taka was clutching. Proof that Hifumi stole the note from
You
Taka.
probably just have that one with you, buddy.
Alright. It's the blue tarp.
Yep.
It's always the blue tarp. It's the answer to everything.
When I searched Taka's body, I saw a blue tarp in his hand. I'm right about this. The blue tarp came from a piece like this. I knew it. It fits perfectly with the piece of paper. Put the blue tarp right next to it. It's hidden on Hifumi. Then Taka's scrap and Hifumi's... Wait, no. Taka's blue tarp and Hifumi's note.
You're killing it, man. And not in a good way.
You have the same piece of blue tarp.
Hifumi had the note meant for Taka, while Taka's corpse still grasped a small piece of the note. There's only one way to explain it.
Taka died clutching the note. Hifumi tried to free the note from his death grip, leaving behind only one small scrap. Did I get all that right? That means Hifumi knew the note was important.
Exactly, which proves that he was an accomplice in the murder.
Whoa. Yeah, after seeing all this, Hifumi was super involved in this thing for sure. In fact, he was behind the whole thing. In fact, he's still alive.
Come on, Yasuhiro, I went through that phase already.
He's like one step behind you.
Sorry, no, I literally went, I was hung up on that for like hours.
Congratulations, you were at the same point as...
Yasuhiro, thank you for comparing me to that man. When we found him in the repository, Hifumi was truly and completely dead. The second body discovery now proves that. So then, who killed Hifumi?
Whoever did is the mastermind, the true killer.
He was killed in the repository, so he must have been killed not long after transporting Taka's body.
So he must have been killed after Taka's body vanished, but before both bodies in the repository. During that time, we'd all split up and were searching for Taka's missing body. In other words, during that time, none of us have alibis.
Wait, but me and Sakura were together. Stop trying to steal a spotlight, you stupid walrus! Who are you calling a walrus?
Anyway, when they were killed bothers me too, but there's something that's been bothering me even more.
And what might that be?
The weapon they used to kill Hifumi. The weapon? Yeah, according to the Moonoookuumaa file, the way Taka and Hifumi were killed was almost the same, with them having similar fractures and all. But Justice Hammer 3 and 4 were still lying around in the nurse's office and equipment room, right? So if Hifumi was killed in the repository, the culprit would have had to grab one of the hammers, kill Hifumi, and then put the hammer back where they found it. But wouldn't that be seriously risky for them? I'm surprised. It seems there's some semblance of a brain knocking around in that skull of yours after all. Hell yeah, it's packed in there good and tight. He's right, though. I don't understand it either. The Moonoookuumaa file makes it clear that they were killed using similar instruments. But if the hammers were already laying around those other rooms...
So the question is, how could the culprit have gotten their hands on either of the hammers? Personally, I haven't a clue.
So which hammer was used to attack Celeste? Number 1 and number 2? Those were accounted in other rooms too, and I don't think either one is big enough to kill someone.
Is it not possible they used a different weapon?
They used the wet hammer.
I don't think it is possible. They were both killed at the same kind of thing, right? So then, what was used to kill Hifumi?
The weapon that was actually used to kill Hifumi is the wet hammer. The whole picture surrounding this case won't become clear until we figure that out. Somehow I have to find out the truth. What is the truth? I must figure it out! The murder weapon wasn't a justice hammer at all. No, it was something completely different. It was a hammer without justice.
But, seriously, a different weapon?
Specifically, a hammer from the repository. The killer could have easily used that to kill Hifumi. Now, all the hammers in the repository were covered in flecks or grit and debris. But for some reason, one of them had been scrubbed clean. Huh? And the reason it had been scrubbed clean was most likely because it was used to commit murder. If the hammer got covered in Hifumi's blood, of course they'd have to clean it off. I'd also like to point out that the repository has all kinds of hammers, and big ones and small ones.
Hey,
Even
Godreke,
the flat mount ones.
Yeah.
Do you want to take, Yasuhiro? Because I think you can do him a lot better than I can.
Probably not at this point.
I mean, all you have is Moonoookuumaa at the moment. I was just wondering if you wanted a more active role.
I could after the trial, I guess.
Alright, I'll give him to you after the trial then.
Cool. Friendship. Watch Yasuhiro be the next one to die.
I wouldn't set him up like that.
Set him up for another emotional roller coaster. And even some flat mallet-like ones. As you know, flat is obviously justice, so I think whoever made the justice hammers used those as a basis for their design.
If that's true, that would explain the Moonoookuumaa file's note about the wounds being similar. So Hifumi moved Taka's body to the repository, where someone then used a hammer to kill him.
And whoever did that is the true killer, the one Hifumi was working with and the one who betrayed him.
Hold on a moment. I still think it's strange to assume someone was working together with him. The way the graduation rule works, there is no benefit to helping someone else carry out a murder. Would work together like that is simply ludicrous. We talked about this, did we not?
We did talk about how there wouldn't be any reason anyone would work together. At least that's what we thought at first, but... So we're gonna have to say that he, one, either got blackmailed from Alter Ego, or that Hifumi was in love with Celeste.
Or neither.
Maybe.
What do you mean?
If there'd only been one murder, then yes, the idea of an accomplice isn't really worth considering. Naturally, if only one person can be saved per murder, an accomplice has no risk versus reward benefit.
Risk versus reward benefit?
The payoff for working together, the reward that balances out the risk of taking part in the scheme. There's no point in being someone's accomplice if there's no benefit to you. However, if there were some potential mutual reward for the risk, then cooperation becomes possible.
You're saying that two people could act as each other's accomplices to commit two separate murders.
I told Hifumi they would each have an accomplice for their crime. And based on the case's events, Hifumi would have been the first one to act, murdering Taka. They made him carry out the first murder so he couldn't back out of helping them later on.
So in this case, there wasn't one single person committing multiple murders. Instead, each person killed someone, creating two separate incidents. And it only looked like one person because that's how the true killer designed it to look. Single suspicious individual, a similar weapon used in each crime, disappearing bodies. By creating one seamless set of circumstances, they made it look like one person was behind it all.
The mastermind picked their target and managed to convince him to go along with their plan. And then, to avoid the no accomplices rule, they simply killed their accomplice. Which, if true, means that betraying Hifumi was part of the plan from the very beginning.
That's just awful. How could anyone be so cruel?
You think so? I can't help but admire its cunning. Still, their choice of accomplice seems odd.
The effort made to convince us the two murders were the same. That was the main characteristic this time. Kyoko must have noticed that fact from the very beginning, which is why she said not to look at the series of connected events but entirely separate incidents. Kyoko really is amazing. Although, when you think about it, she's almost too amazing. Like, it's almost unnatural how good she is at this.
I understand how an accomplice could be involved, but then who was the one pulling Hifumi's strings?
That's problem numero uno right now. The true killer manipulated Hifumi to carry out a number of actions, and in the end murdered him. And the debates up till now, the way the case has unfolded when you consider all that, there's really only one person who seems to fit. Is this the time we're supposed to select? Alright, I guess we go to Celeste, right? We're picking Celeste. 100% Celeste. Yeah.
Yep.
It was Celeste!
So I am the suspicious individual now, am I? I really do hate this kind of joke.
A joke? I wonder.
So what you are saying, then, is that I specifically chose to work together with Hifumi. The idea that I would choose to spend any amount of time interacting with him. That would go within 10 feet of that shit for brains, that lazy, worthless, goddamn idiot! Pardonnez-moi.
Just to be clear, there is evidence to support it. Have you said?
I did. I'll say it again. Is that so?
It is. Throughout the investigation, there was certain behavior that was common only between the two of you. Considering what we've learned so far, it only further proves that the two of you were working together.
What it is that only Hifumi and Celeste had in common? The paper in his pants. Encountering the suspicious individual, right? Yeah.
We...
Well, I mean, the screaming's also similar, but only them have encountered the suspicious individual.
Yes.
The behavior they had in common has to do with the suspicious individual in the suit, doesn't it? The only ones who ever actually saw Robo Justice firsthand were Celeste and Hifumi.
Shush, the adults are talking
Are you
now.
freaking kidding me, Byakuya? I'm an adult too. Sorry.
As he said, only Celeste and Hifumi ever laid eyes on the costumed individual.
That's literally what I just said!
If we accept that Hifumi was one of the culprits, we can't help but suspect that what Celeste has said as well.
Are you saying everything they told us was a lie?
After taking Hifumi to the nurse's office, we all began our search for this individual, correct? And not too long after that, do you remember what Celeste said?
I saw a shadow, something moving around at the top of the stairs.
We headed to the second floor specifically because of what she claimed to have seen.
Yep.
Next, to draw us all to the physics lab up on the third floor, she let out a blood-curdling scream.
Mm-hmm.
And when we'd all come to see what was wrong, what was it she said?
Celeste, what's wrong?
That was a rather intense scream for someone like you.
I saw him, the strange costumed man. He ran off as soon as I screamed. I was blocking the stairs, so he headed further down into the hallway and disappeared.
See, I knew it all along, and not all along.
Once she'd done her job getting us all up to the physics lab, it was time for her partner to get to work.
Yeah.
Huh? What was that?
That came from downstairs. It must have been...
Hifumi! He's in the nurse's office! This is bad. Come on, we gotta go back. It was to get us to divide into two groups so that we would discover both bodies at the same time.
In fact, Celeste was precisely the one who proposed that we split up.
Then why don't we split up into two groups?
I'll lead the hunting party. That seems much more interesting.
Koto and Hina, you come with me to the nurse's office. We'll leave the capture of the suspicious individual to Toko, Byakuya, and Sakura.
Well, if Celeste and Hifumi were working together, all those chance events suddenly become connected. Did you notice that she actually really fucked up a line too?
Huh?
What?
She severely fucked up a line.
What?
And she fully gave it away at one point.
What'd she say?
You'll see.
Okay.
And on top of that, that piercing cry of yours early on.
Ah!
That was to signal Hifumi, wasn't it? It was your way of telling him, we're on the third floor, everything's going according to plan. Why else would you let out a scream that could have carried across the sea?
I just realized another strange thing. When we found Hifumi in the nurse's office, who we now know was only pretending to be dead.
Expecting this. I did not imagine that Hifumi would be murdered.
Celeste, you were the first one to say he'd been murdered. You wanted to make sure you wouldn't have any doubt in our minds. We wouldn't have any. I don't believe it. Everything, the whole thing was one big act. Was that the thing that you're referencing, Matt?
Nope.
Oh. Hina, you were with Celeste when Hifumi's body disappeared, right? Yeah? Oh, I was gonna go sassy teenage girl there. Yeah, I was feeling kinda sick, so Celeste took me to the bathroom. Wait, then that was... She wasn't worried about you. She just saw the chance to help Hifumi sneak out of the nurse's office. Was that what you were talking about, Matt?
No.
Because that was kind of blatantly obvious, in my opinion.
No, not that.
Matt'll probably just tell you when it happens.
They'll tell you. Like,
Alright.
It will be said to you. Each piece isn't much by itself, but start putting them together and the picture gets very ugly indeed. I think Kyoko will point out what I'm talking about. Wouldn't you agree, Celeste?
I have no idea what you mean.
That's one smug face.
Don't bother trying to deny it. You made one fatal mistake.
It's Byakuya that's gonna point it out.
Maybe. I did not hear you say.
Oh, did I?
I didn't even catch it myself when you first said it, but looking back, I can say that one little slip-up was your undoing.
What are you talking about?
I'm talking about what you said after Hifumi's body disappeared and we returned to the nurse's office. It is Byakuya.
They must really be enjoying this. Enjoying the sight of us standing around, frightened and confused. We're all going to die here. Just like those guys died.
I remember her saying that too, but I don't understand what's so strange about it. Then pay attention. Sakura, Toko, and I were first to discover Taka's body in the equipment room. Then Makoto showed up and told us Hifumi had been killed, so Sakura and I left with Makoto. Once we were in the hall, we ran into Celeste, and the four of us headed to the nurse's office. Now, the entire time we were together, none of us said anything about Taka being dead. Think about it. Celeste's comment doesn't make any sense. It was completely out of place.
That's true.
Yeah, I see what you're talking about, although I don't really get what it means.
Are you freaking kidding me, Yasuhiro?
You hear that, Celeste? Everyone's having trouble understanding. Could you repeat what you said? If you're really not the culprit, you shouldn't have any problem repeating it, right?
Byakuya said that Celeste's comment doesn't make any sense. But what's he alluding to?
He clearly